Welcome back to Unity TV. We get to number 10 of our sit-down interviews as we count down the days until League One BC kicks off again. Can that winter be over, please?
Lord, is it cold?
Let's see who it is today. She's a midfielder from Abbotsford, BC, has played for many youth clubs and universities, including Trinity Western University, and was your number 5 for UDFC this season. Let's catch up with Bryana Buttar. Joining me now is Bryana Buttar of Abbotsford, BC. Thank you very much for joining the show.
Thank you for having me.
I want to start off with your journey of growing up in Abbotsford and talking about when you fell in love with the game and decided, hey, I want to play football when I get older.
Yeah. So I grew up in Abbotsford. I started playing soccer around like 6 years old, I think. I guess it was later than some others started, but I actually, no one in my family really played soccer. It was my dad's best friend who coached a soccer team and was like, you need to tell her to come, you need to bring her. So it was actually my dad's best friend that got me into the game. And I remember there's a photo of me going to practice and I'm wearing a pink tank top and red capris shorts. And I'm just there, ready to play. And I think my parents just put me in the game and I just ended up loving it and being so competitive that I just stuck with it. So yeah, I think my parents just put me in as an activity. They weren't expecting me to be anything crazy. It was kind of yeah, let's let her have some fun and, keep her busy. So yeah.
Well, that's quite a first image, your first someone playing in the game. It's actually hilarious how that worked out. Playing it through your youth and going up to high school, talk about your journey of going through growing up with the game as you get older.
For sure. So my journey has been very long. I've been played for a lot of different teams. I started off playing for my dad's best friend's team, actually. So that was funny. It was my dad's best friend and my dad actually coached me in the summer. And then from then on, I think that was Abbotsford Soccer Association through my dad's best friend. And then after that, I played for Abbotsford Soccer Kickers. So little Timbits. Started through there. And then I played for just Abbotsford Soccer for I guess it's gold level before, when you're younger, played for that. And then I want to say when HPL intake started, I made HPL for Fraser Valley. Did that for a couple years, I want to say. I got scouted to play for Team BC. I actually ended up playing 2 years above level. And then after that, I'd actually gotten scouted to go play for a camp. It was a U15 national camp. And that was in Toronto. So from HPL and Team BC, I got scouted to go play for that U15 team. Ended up actually making it 2 years younger. I was 13. So after the camp in Toronto, we went to Cayman Islands. I think it was in 2014 now, which is a long time ago. So we actually won a gold medal. And I actually played center back then. So once we came back from the Cayman Islands and the Team Canada camp, there was Whitecaps the Rex program was just starting up. So I remember I went to Whitecaps, played there for about 2 years. It was the elite program and then it changed into the Rex program. So my year was the first year of the Rex program. Did that for about 2 years and I actually got cut from the Whitecaps program. So I had come back to Fraser Valley HPL and then I went to Surrey for my last 2 years. During this time period, I continued playing for Team BC, but so I ended off my youth career at Surrey.
Well, it's actually very interesting because you also talk about you played a center back for a little bit, but actually now you play more midfielder, at least for Unity this year.
Mm-hmm.
How's that been process for you transitioning in that process, going from center back to more in the midfield for that?
Yeah, so I was strictly center back for Team Canada and Whitecaps the whole 2 years. I never played a different position, maybe fullback, but mostly it was center back. And then after Whitecaps, I had gotten all the qualities of a good center back. So I was really good in the air. I was good at talking. I remember the coaches loved me because I used to be really good at passing and doing this hook turn so that I was just really good at distributing the ball. And I've always been a really good defender. So I think the center back in me is like still in me. I'm a very good attacker now, but the part about me in midfield is I love to defend. So I think it's been like I haven't played center back for a while now, but it definitely has influence and still impacts the way I play today as a center midfielder.
After being part of your youth career, going to a lot of places, more than I was expecting, to be frank, because a lot of players like to stay where they locally play. But the fact that you've played a lot of places is actually very fascinating. Maybe talk about like after you graduate from high school, like your whole journey going through college, university, playing, eventually playing for Trinity Western. You are there this year, your fourth year, but also the last couple of years playing in across college, university.
Yeah, so not only has my youth career been long, but so has my college career. So I actually started off my first year at University of the Fraser Valley. I played for Coach Rob, who's now my coach and is also the Unity coach as well, one of them. So I had a great first year there, won different awards, won Rookie of the Year, U Sport All Rookie Team. And then after my first year, it was kind of just like in my hometown. And I think the Whitecaps part of me had just been like, all my teammates are going D1 and like kind of just seeing everyone like go to the next level. I just kind of felt like I really wanted to get to the next level. And since my first year, I've always wanted to play pro. Like that's just been a huge goal of mine. And so I was just like, what is going to help me get to the next level? And I really just wanted to excel and be challenged. And I think I was just like comfortable and I didn't want to be comfortable. So I actually, in the summer of 2021, I want to say, I played for a semi-pro team in Edmonton. And from there on, I got scouted to go play for University of Memphis. So I did 2 of my years in Memphis, and I came back and played for Unity in 2021. And then, was it 2021? No, 2022, sorry. And then did that. And then I just kind of loved Unity and like the coaches, and Memphis was very challenging. And like, I wouldn't change my experiences for anything, but I just like wasn't playing as much as I wanted to, and I wanted to lead more than I could that I was there. So I've currently used my skills that I've learned from Memphis and my previous schools and experiences currently at Unity and at Trinity.
It's very fascinating that not only in your youth career, but also in your college career, university, that you've been to multiple places and you've probably picked up a lot of different things, being part of different teams. It's a unique career for yourself because for someone your age, it's not very common to have a lot go to multiple places. Do you find that it is more challenging, or is it find that you learn more for going different places at different times in your career?
I think it is challenging for sure, but I think I've really used everything like that I've learned at all of my previous places to kind of where I am today. I think it's like why I am the person I am today, like my hard experiences at Memphis and, you know, a different role that I played on that team. And I was like in my first year there, I was kind of like a super sub. I'd come on and I'd bring all my energy, and maybe I didn't play as much as I wanted to, and I had worked really hard and maybe I wasn't getting that recognition, but I grinded and I worked really hard and I trained really hard. And so I kind of found out what it's like to maybe not play as much. And I had been playing a lot before in my first year. So now I know what it's like for those teammates that maybe don't play as much. And I feel like I can just relate to them as well. And I know what it's like to play. So it's like I've kind of been in both situations. And I think being that tough time in Memphis, like definitely made me who I am today. I've been through everything, and it's definitely why I am so resilient. And coming back to Trinity and Unity has like made me much more confident. It's made me realize like I am the player I am today because of my past experiences. So I think it has been challenging, but I mean, it's made me someone that I can make friends in probably 5 minutes because I've been so many places. Like I also make the most out of my experiences, whether that's for a little bit or for a long time. So.
Well, it's been very fascinating watching the Canada West season, how Trinity Western, the Spartans, have really dominated this season. winning the Canada West Championship, going to Kingston for the U Sports Championship. Maybe just talk about like this whole season as a whole, your experiences, the ups and downs of going through it, and what was the things that you took away from being part of the Spartans this year.
Yeah. So actually, after Unity, I picked up an injury, and I think it might have been from overuse and maybe me not taking a break all summer long. So I was injured kind of mostly for like all of regular season, which really sucked. I mean, it was like, you come back home and you pick up an injury, and it's like, you're kind of like back, you feel like you're just kind of at the bottom again. But I mean, the season couldn't have gone better. A gold medal would have been nice, but other than that, so I got to play in all the playoff games. I remember the Calgary game, I played 90 minutes. That was my first 90 minutes since like end of August. And then we go on to play at Nationals, and then I played 90 minutes every single game. And so I think that like being a Spartan really just, it's reminded me of who I am. It's brought me back all my confidence. It's like I remember why I play soccer. I have coaches who love me, teammates who love me. So yeah, I think it's just kind of like a full circle moment. And winning Canada West was just like, it was awesome. And going to Nationals was just a great experience.
We always have different players or different clubs that we follow as fans of the game, whether we want to be spectators or if we want to like aspire to go there the long term. Is there a specific club or player that you as a player that you would aspire to either play for one day? You mentioned that you also want to be a professional one day. Is there a club that you're like, oh, I really want to play there if I had the opportunity, or there's a player I like really aspire to play like one day?
For a club wise, I would love to go anywhere in Europe right now. Like, I think just going anywhere and getting that professional experience is so valuable. So I think for me, there's not one specific place or club that I would like to. It's just kind of wherever I get the opportunity, I would love to go to. Player wise, I think growing up, like, the reason I love playing Unity so much is because it gives me a chance to kind of inspire the younger generation. I feel like me growing up, there wasn't a lot of girls that were maybe like Punjabi or Sikh, like professional players. So, someone that looked like me growing up, I never really had like, oh, I want to be like this person. It was kind of just like me figuring out my own journey and path because, there's so many players out there like Christine Sinclair and, like everybody sees them on Team Canada, but there's never really anyone that I saw like me, like, oh, I can kind of be like them. So I think for me, it was just like, I just wanted to pave my own path and give younger girls like someone to look up to, and they can say, oh, if she's done it, like I can do it too.
Well, it's always inspiring to hear those kind of stories and just like hearing people pave their own path because yeah, it's not always easy for everyone to do that. And it's always great to hear that people aspire to do that. You've already mentioned that you were part of Unity this past year. If I recall correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, that you were part of it in 2022. Talk about that whole process of being part of coming into the fold of Unity and how you got introduced to the coaches and how you became part of the team.
So I played for Unity in 2022, but I had only played 3 games and I got injured. So that really sucked. Like I couldn't play the whole summer, and then I had to go back early to be in the States for school. But this year has been awesome, like picture perfect. Coming home in January, like coming home back from the States, I kind of had no confidence, and it was just like, well, let's pick myself up again and kind of restart again from the bottom. And playing in Unity allowed me to play games at a high level again. It allowed me to be a leader. It allowed me to step up, and it kind of made me feel like important again and like I can do this. And Unity was just awesome. Like I don't think I missed a single practice or a game. Like I missed 2 games because we were in Africa, but no, I just love the club so much. I love what it stands for, the coaches. Like it doesn't matter what university or club you play for aside of Unity. Like when we're there, it's just like we're all together. So that's really nice. I've really enjoyed playing with all the different girls. Like it's so fun playing with maybe girls that I played with when I was younger or before, or girls that are older than me. So that's been really fun. But I think the fact that there is a summer league that's like semi-pro in BC that we can now play for is amazing because in 2021, I went to Edmonton to play for 2 months, and I was just there for soccer, and Edmonton's kind of like a boring place. So all I did was just play soccer, but it's nice for me to stay home and be able to play at such a high level while still like enjoying my summer, having my family and friends with me, and still being able to work. Like, it's a really big thing, and I'm so glad that we have such a high level in the summer that we can play for.
You've already talked about you played as center back. You're more of a center midfield. Maybe talk about like the style of football you like to play from either your past experiences or where you are now. Like what positions you like to play or like style of football you enjoy playing.
So I think I'm definitely like the definition of a grinder. Like, I'm someone that just likes to get it done. I like to pride myself on being like one of the hardest working players on the field. I love defending. Like, it's funny, as attacker, people don't like defending, but I love, like, no one's getting past me. If you need to put in that slide tackle, like, I will do it. You know, if my teammate has gotten beat, I'm going to go back and cover for her. But no, I now play more of a 10-8 role. I personally love playing 10 because I also love attacking. I love pressing, and I love like making runs to get ball, like through balls, and I love just like driving at defenders. I think that's one of my best qualities is like when I'm driving at you, like I'm going and there's no looking back. I think I just love going forwards, and like when I get the ball, I'm usually like, let's go, let's drive, like let's go forward. So I'm a very much so attacking player. With Unity, I played more so 10 than 8. And it was funny because sometimes the coaches would be like, you're not a second striker. Like, you need to come back and defend still. And I just get so sometimes caught attacking. And then I'm like, oh, I need to get all the way back. But with Trinity, I played more of like an 8 in nationals, 8, 10 a little bit. But I can be that box-to-box midfielder as well. Yeah.
Well, yeah, just highlighting how you had a great season. Like you played 12 games like through this whole Uni season. You had 6 goals for Uni, and from my check, and if I'm wrong, I apologize, Internet. That's the most goals that any Uni FC player, female player, had for the season. So, is there a specific game that you really stuck out to you? Is like this is like one of my favorite games that I played, or even just as a season as a whole? Like you talked about how it was already a booster for you for your confidence. And going through those lows and bringing it back up to that process. Talk about like the season as a whole, how much it meant to you to go through that.
Yeah, so I think the League One stats are actually wrong. I think I had 7 in-season goals and then 1 in playoffs.
Okay, well, I apologize for that.
So I don't know if they updated that. But that's okay because it's not your fault. But I think I think it was really nice for me in the summer just because I just was able to score so many goals. I remember Graham being like, I didn't know you could score. Like, I didn't know you were such a goal scorer. And I was like, well, me neither. But, you know, that's just how it worked out. But I think my favorite game was our semifinal against Natsima. I think that game really just tied it in for us. Like, as a team, as a club, for the players, like, we scored, like, 4 amazing goals. And I think that was one of my, like, the most fun games. I remember being, like felt like I was a little kid. Like, it was just so fun. And I remember being, like, the game's already done? Like, what? It's, like, it was awesome. And another one of my favorite games was at BC Place as well.
That's actually a unique thing. I'm glad you brought that up. It's a very fascinating thing because growing up in the Lower Mainland, having the Whitecaps being the only professional team in town, BC Place was like the odd place to go to when it comes to football. Talk about that whole process of like playing the final in BC Place.
I think it was surreal and such a great experience. Like, growing up, I've seen Team Canada play there, Whitecaps play there, you know, like I used to play for the Whitecaps, so seeing the Whitecaps play there, and it was just like a surreal moment. I remember like getting there, I was like, you know, like I had butterflies in my stomach. Like, I wasn't necessarily nervous for the game, but more so just like, wow, like we're playing at BC Place. It was kind of just like, I remember before the game, we just all like took it in, and like it's an experience that not many players can say they've had. And I was really proud of us for making it that far. And once again, I wish we had kind of won, but like it was such a great experience and definitely one of my best experiences so far as a player.
We are definitely striving at Unity to prepare for players, not only that currently play for Unity FC, but also future players who come down the pipeline to thrive and really push themselves to the as far as they can go. Whether they want to play semi-pro, professional, we want to push them and give them the opportunities they can to go as far as they want to or as far as they can. What would be biggest advice you can give to either current or future Unity FC players if they want to make that pathway, like you are wanting to go pro?
I think that it's such a great experience for like especially younger players to have as well, not so like current players, but I think we had at Unity some younger players that kind of came to practice with us, and I didn't know their age, and I'm very competitive, and so I'm always yelling and kind of talking during practice, and I find out later that maybe the person that this little younger girl that I'm being so hard on, not so hard on, but just kind of like hounding in on like your touch, your pass, come on, like let's be better. I found out that she was 16 years old at a Spartan camp. And I was just like, I didn't know that she was that young, but it's just like, that's just the level that I just hold everybody to at practice. So whether I'm 22 or people are older, or for example, if she was 16 years old, like, it's just such a great experience for younger players to have. And I really encourage players to just buy in. Like, I know Liz said this in her interview, but it's a summer league, but you can really buy in, come to all practices, work hard in trainings. Like, it's going to pay off. And like, you get what you work for. So if you work really hard, like, it's definitely you're going to get rewarded for it. And I think that's my biggest advice is like, especially for younger players, like, don't be scared. I mean, I was sorry that for that 16-year-old girl, maybe I was a bit too hard on her, but I think it's like such a great experience for young ones to have and like be mentored as well and just play at the highest level with a whole bunch of different players. So, yeah.
I'm actually going to throw you a little bit of a curveball here. I actually found out that a friend of mine was actually at Surrey FC recently at the time of this recording, and saw that you were coaching one of the youth kids. Maybe talk about like that whole experience of being a coach and like helping the next generation learn about the game that you're involved in.
Yeah. So I love coaching and I love giving back and just kind of being that role model that maybe I didn't have when I was younger. So I'm just started kind of working with their team, and with Dan, he kind of asked me to come and help coach his girls team. And I just love like being there for them, and I don't think I realized like how much that they appreciate as well. Just like having a role model to look up to and being like, they're like, they know that I played for Unity, and it's just a reminder of like, if you guys work hard, like you can also play for Unity. But I think mostly I just like being there for them and them just being like, oh, if she can do it, I can do it too. Like, it's not impossible. And it's just a reminder to them just like to keep working hard. And definitely like when I'm done playing or even now, I just want to coach and want to give back as much as I can because this sport has given me so much, and I just want to inspire kids and help them achieve their best and their potential.
We always talk about like how it's so amazing to have a local football club in our backyards. For someone like yourself in Abbotsford, the closest pro club before Unity or even League One BC or before Vancouver FC was Vancouver Whitecaps, and even making the trip to Edmonton for one season was a challenge. Talk about how important it is to have local football in our own backyards.
I think it's so important. I think it's giving people the opportunities that they didn't have before. And even for me, like, it wasn't professional in Edmonton, but it was semi-professional, and that was the closest thing that I could find. And I spent my whole summer there, and it was such a great experience for me, but it's also like I had to move away from home for my summer and be alone by myself. And I remember getting to practice so early, and they would be like, why are you here at practice so early? You're like 2 hours early. And I'm like, I just have nothing else to do. Like, I'm just here to play soccer. So I think it's so vital to have it in our backyards. And like, it's something that I know I look forward to every summer. It's like, I get to play for Unity. I get to, play with my best friends and just like play for fun. I think that's also a big thing is, yes, it's high level, but it's so fun. And I think once again, it just gives players an opportunity to get better and get noticed and just get better, maybe even for their university season. Like this past summer, I think and also with Project 8 getting announced, it's really nice that it's like, okay, well, maybe you can you have League One players that you can now look at, and you can look at their stats and how they're doing. So I think it's that next building like bridge and gap that we needed, because now it's like, now we have something to look forward to every summer. Whereas if you're in U Sports or NCAA, your season ends in maybe November, some people even October if you don't make playoffs, and you have all the way up until next preseason where you don't have games. So it's really nice to have that in BC and allow players to just keep playing and get better as players.
Well, it's always amazing talking to players and getting to know them, their stories, and how they are being impactful in Unity. Bryana, we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what you saw, give it a big old thumbs up for us. And make sure to follow us on our other socials right here. See you next time.